At 5 o'clock, the travel rush is in full swing. Millions are expected to be driving to their Christmas destinations, and we are giving you a live look right over Kentuckiana here. Back in the background, you can see some busy interstates. Well, we are keeping an eye on travel also out of Louisville International Airport. A couple of flights delayed this morning, at least one heading to Florida, sitting on a delay right now. Otherwise, flight times are looking great. We thank you for joining us here at 5 o'clock as we kick off this holiday weekend. I'm Shay McAllister. Well, outside of traffic delays and all of those flight delays, the other thing that can put a wrench in your holiday travel is, of course, the weather. So let's get right on over to meteorologist Christina San Juan.
All right, thank you so much, Shay. And not just here locally, but across most of the United States, we're doing okay when it comes to our flights. Maybe a couple of delays right now from Los Angeles over to Phoenix, but nothing significant across the entire nation. So that's something we can certainly be thankful for. And in fact, probably why we are seeing some of those delays off closer to the West Coast is because of this system that's going to be the one bringing us rain for our Christmas day. As we look a little bit closer here across the Ohio Valley, we will be seeing some of that rain. Most of it, though, is going to stay north of the river. Taking a closer look, you see one or two of those raindrops up to our north. I doubt that those are even making it to the ground at this point, though. Going into the overnight hours, though, wouldn't be surprised to see one or two sprinkles making their way into southern Indiana. Again, most of us, though, going to be staying dry. Into tomorrow afternoon, we'll keep the clouds around, but temperatures going to be mild once again, making it into the mid-50s, maybe a sprinkle or two, but again, largely dry across Kentuckiana. For your Christmas Eve, though, it's going to be incredibly mild, waking up to temperatures in the mid and upper 40s. Those clouds clear out and temperatures are climbing up into the mid-60s before the day is done. So that's going to be an incredible day to go outside or to travel, because right after that is when we're tracking all of that rain for our Christmas day. I'll take you into further detail coming up in about 15 minutes. Shay.
All right, Christina, thank you. Today, LMPD released body-worn video from two officer-involved shootings. Both happened earlier this month within 6 days of each other. We start with the deadly shooting at a home in the Portland neighborhood. Authorities originally described it as a domestic incident. Now it's being called a hostage situation. Officers responded to North 25th Street on the night of December 14th. Today, police tell us one of three hostages, a young man, was shot and killed there. Police say the suspect, identified as 30-year-old Kenneth Clark, was shot by officers seconds later. We're told Clark is still in the hospital in critical condition. Senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Jessica Farley covered a news conference this afternoon. LMPD actually walked us through all of this body camera video, and Isaiah, much of it is very difficult to watch.
Shay, very much so. Just a warning to any of those of you watching at home. We saw the moments inside that house when the woman who called 911 with kids in the home told officers the suspect was upstairs with guns holding three people hostage inside a room. One of those three was able to come downstairs for a moment and let police know what was going on.
His big brother got two guns to his head. It's like he's ready to die, man. So he's willing, if he sees some police thing, he's willing to die. Instead of he's going to shut the police down. I try to talk to him.
And at this point, a crew of officers inside discuss next steps, even FaceTiming another hostage in that room, a woman who describes the suspect as not being in the right mind and not letting them go. Minutes later, police make a request for SWAT response. Soon after, you can hear things in the video begin to escalate upstairs through the closed door. In the video, you can hear shouting, including what LMPD describes as the suspect saying he's going to make a sacrifice and, quote, "You're going to die with me or before me." Eventually, right there, officers bust through the door where we'll stop the video. LMPD says that's when Clark shoots one of the three hostages in the head, killing him. Officers then, within seconds, fire at the suspect.
121 Baker, it's escalating up there. We might have to move up.
Really, there's only three decisions you can make at this point, right? They can sit there and do nothing, wait for the SWAT team to show up, which might be somewhere between 15 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour before we get that level of resources there. You can go to the door, you can attempt to make contact and start a negotiation with this person, understanding that you cannot predict the reaction that you're going to get from that person. These officers chose the third based on that totality, that we have to take a decisive action now, that we feel like that is our best opportunity to take some kind of intervention that's going to save the life of preferably both these hostages, but at least somebody.
Deputy Chief Paul Humphrey there tells us officers' rounds also hit the victim in this case in the torso, but he says that came after the victim had already been shot in the head. It's worth noting here 911 calls show SWAT was en route 3 minutes after shots were fired. We confirmed they do have a hostage negotiator on their response team. And Shay, police say Clark has a history of mental health challenges and time in prison. Just getting released this past October, 2 guns were found in his possession. Now, as for the 2 officers who fired shots here, both are on administrative leave. Per department policy, they joined the force this past April. Shay.
All right, Isaiah, thanks for that update. Well, LMPD also released footage from another officer-involved shooting, this one near Churchill Downs. It also happened in December.
The gun! Drop that gun! Drop the gun!
Happened just after 9 o'clock. In the video, police pull up behind a car. When officers get out, you can see the suspect, identified as Marvin Smith, running from the car with a gun in his hand. Officers are heard yelling at him to drop the weapon, but he never does. Sergeant Joshua Arnwine was the one who pulled the trigger in this case.
I think you can see in this incident we're talking about, we obviously have a violent crime problem in Louisville. Detectives have to go out and look for people who are in the commission of crimes. Oftentimes those people are armed and these are dangerous situations. You see the officers made a coordinated attempt to stop this person, gave him multiple commands to drop the gun. Over the course of time, he was given that opportunity, and ultimately this resulted in an officer-involved shooting and his arrest.
The suspect, Marvin Smith, was taken to the hospital. He's charged with fleeing police and wanton endangerment. And we took a closer look at Sergeant Arnwine's personal record. The officer has been suspended at least 4 different times, the first dating back to 2017, for violating reporting guidelines. According to his files, in 2020, he was suspended for failing to record using his body camera and failing to be civil. He was ordered to be suspended for 1 day without pay, but it wasn't sanctioned until 2 years later under Chief Erica Shields. Now some heartbreaking news out of southern Indiana. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office is investigating a deadly crash involving 3 children. It happened in the Hamilton Township Thursday evening at North County Road 100 and East County Road 600. According to police, a freightliner collided with a Ford Expedition at the intersection right there. Both drivers were okay, but 3 children in the back of the Ford were hurt in the crash. 12-year-old Addie Sullivan was treated on scene, then taken to Schneck Medical Center. 9-year-old Archer Sullivan was flown to Riley Children's Hospital in Indianapolis, and he's still in critical condition tonight. And 6-year-old Elijah Sullivan was taken to Schneck Medical Center, where he succumbed to his injuries. Indiana State Police are assisting in the investigation. Right now, officers tell us they don't know which driver was at fault. Both consented to toxicology tests. Metro Police are looking into a deadly hit-and-run tonight. It happened near the University of Louisville. According to police, a man was riding a bike on South 3rd Street right around 11 o'clock when a car hit him and then drove off. Police say the man was taken to University Hospital, and that is where he died. As of right now, they don't have the information they need to find the driver in this case. If you have any information that can help them, call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD. And we now know the name of the person killed in a deadly shooting in the Park Duval neighborhood on Tuesday. The coroner's office says 31-year-old Latia Greenwell died after she was shot at her home on 32nd Street. Police say a second woman was also stabbed at the scene. However, she is expected to survive. LMPD says they do have all parties accounted for in that case. Some parents will be spending the holiday weekend searching for childcare. St. Matthew's Area Ministries shut down its daycare today after abruptly notifying parents about the closure just a few days ago. Alexis Jones talked with one of those parents today, sharing how this closure sheds light on Kentucky's childcare shortage. Well, that center is...
Drop-off wasn't easy for nearly 50 families here in Linden, as Friday was the last time their children walked through this daycare's doors.
We cried. I cried.
Mayor Collette hopped in her car Friday morning with a heartbreaking reminder for her 1-year-old son.
I had a long conversation with him in the car as he cried, telling him we won't see them again. This is our last day at school.
Colette's child attended St. Matthew's Area Ministries Childcare Development Center since May, but Monday directors announced their plans to permanently close the center in less than a week. Colette says parents weren't notified until later that night on the daycare's app. It wasn't until the next day she learned teachers were left in the dark too.
And they were also in shock. They were visibly upset. I really wish that we had had better communication, kinder communication about what's happening here.
In a statement, the center's executive director said the decision was made based upon the ongoing staff shortages and challenges to maintain and operate on a consistent schedule for families. Colette says the daycare closed several times due to teachers calling out sick, but there was no indication the center was nearing its last days. Now parents are forced to quickly find new childcare, which Colette says is nearly impossible.
The places that I couldn't get into, I called them and they have a message that they're closed this week. They're not even open. So I have to wait until after the new year to even get him on the wait list. Now I'm deeply concerned of going to anywhere else and having this be an outcome that we could be facing.
According to Steve Magri with Childcare Advocates of Kentucky, the center's closure is a part of a larger issue in the Commonwealth. During the pandemic, childcare was sustained by nearly $50 billion in federal funding. Once that expired, Kentucky invested more money, but many say it wasn't enough.
We're still getting COVID and shutting things down. So when you run out of that funding that supports that and the issues are still underlying, we haven't fixed it.
This is why Governor Andy Beshear is asking the legislature to spend $141 million to keep childcare programs afloat. But if his proposal isn't passed, parents like Colette may be faced with more goodbyes. In Louisville, Alexis Jones, WHAS11 on your side.
And just a reminder, today's the last day for JCPS parents to make their school choice. It's the second year students can choose to go to a school close to their home. The district says after last year, they can already see families are taking advantage of schools in their choice zone. You can find a full guide and the application on the JCPS website right now. The Kentucky Wildcats came out on top in the Battle of the Bluegrass at the KFC Yum Center last night with a score of 95-76. With the 19-point win, the Cats have now beat the Cards by at least 19 in back-to-back years and have won the Battle of the Bluegrass 8 of the last 10 times that the two teams have played. Well, Kenny Payne's record leading this program now drops to 9 wins and 35 losses. Here's what he had to say after last night's game.
I'm not sitting here and saying that I'm not at fault. I'm not happy with where we are, but I also know that we still can get better and there's a lot of room for growth. But it's not all on the kids. I have to do a better job of getting these guys prepared to play really good teams.
Sports Director Ken Spencer joining me now. And Ken, I know you've been in touch with U of L Athletics today. What are they saying about his future here?
Yeah, U of L tells me that Kenny Payne will be the Cards head coach going into the new year. Louisville's next game, they got a little bit of a break. It's not until January 3rd when they're on the road at Virginia. Josh Hurd will continue to evaluate the program like every other program throughout the course of the season. Speculation really has been all over the place since the Arkansas State game, a blowout loss by the Cards, which was also the same day as the Karan Davis fiasco last Wednesday. Payne's buyout in his contract currently stands at $8 million. It will decrease down to $6 million on April 1st of 2024. So far under Payne, Louisville is 9-35. They have won 5 games this year, which is one more than they did a season ago. It's important to note the language of all of this. He is the coach heading into the new year, not until the end of the season, which means anything can really happen moving forward. It really just depends on what you see on the court, the results. That's really ultimately what matters here. And of course, making sure everything stays tidied up off the court as well. Remember, like I said, the Karan Davis situation, or a couple weeks ago when he said Tyler Johnson didn't wear the right tights and didn't want to go into the game. Those things have to be tightened up as well.
A lot to think about here, and I guess we're waiting until the new year to find out more.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks, Kent.